You don't need meat to gain muscle. You don't need meat. You don't need eggs, and actually you can recover faster. It's the same questions. The same myth came along also when I started to be vegan. I would say 12 years ago, and it wasn't that popular back then. So when I became basically vegan, people really look at me weird, and they say, "Well, how are you going to gain weight? And how are you going to gain muscles? Or are you going to die?" I don't know. I don't remember exactly, but it was extremely funny because people still, until today, have this myth that the protein you get from plants is not the same protein that you get from meat. But it's if you look at the biggest animals on the planet, look at elephants, cows, look at cows, look at bulls. Look at look at gorillas. They're eating plants. They're extremely strong and they do have muscles. So the problem is not in the plants. The problem is our perception of where you get your protein from, and this comes from education. Okay, so first the question is where B12 comes from. What's the source? So many people will tell you it's in the meat.
Right.
It is in the meat, but it's not the source. The source is it's a microbes. It's in the soil. So the guy he wasn't wrong, but the execution is a bit hard to do. I cannot put my veggies in the soil.
Right.
The way to consume B12 today, most people consume it from the meat that they eat. How? The animal agriculture, they feed B12, they feed supplements to the cow. And then the person eat the cow. But basically, the B12 is from the soil. Our soil is very poor these days, so you can't get it from vegetables. But back then, you could get it actually from vegetables and everything. But it's not what it used to be like hundreds of years ago.
Technically, we can say if it's organic food from the good soil, it will have a higher source of B12.
Supposedly, yes. Supposedly, yes. Now, I think people are lack of critical thinking.
That applies to everything in 2025, 100%.
But if I think food is so important for us. We consume it every day, at least 3 times a day. Critical thinking in that point, it's affect your life dramatically. Now you're going far to the States. Look at China. There is a study, one of the biggest nutrition study called the China study. I'm not going to talk about this nutrition experiment, but basically you can see in China many years ago when China was completely poor, and what they did, they went to any village in China and any city and villages in China and check what people's eating there, what's their lifestyle. No. Like, I don't know, 20 years ago? Something like that, 20, 30 years ago. And after they gather all the data, let's make it short about that. And basically what they realize is very simple and it's make a lot of sense. When you live, the more you are close to the city, the less healthy you are. It's that simple. Why? Because the more you're close to the city, you are more rich. And then basically people that have more money, their life habits completely change. It means they eat much more meat. When you are in the farm, even if you look at Chinese, older people in China, when they lived in the farm, they had not much money. So you're going to have a bowl of soup, and the meat, it wasn't the main dish. It was a little bit of top on the top, a little bit of top. It wasn't like a big piece of steak and a piece of broccoli. So the main thing was plants, was legumes, grains, vegetables, fruits. And there's a little bit of fish, meat, or egg. That wasn't the main thing. Now, the more Chinese had more and more money, it became like, okay, now I have money. Now I can have those things. I can have the meat much more because I have the money. And then the influence from the West came.
Of course.
KFC came here. You see it everywhere. McDonald's trying to push those things. And people, it's very hard because it's accessibility. It's everywhere. So people just, without thinking what happened when they go inside and they eat that, because they just want to feel full.
Full, yeah. No.
There is consequences for every action that we do, especially with food, man.
Hello, world. This is Say It Slow podcast. Your favorite host, Jay, here. Tonight is our guest, Asher, vegan bodybuilder, business owner, full-time plant-based dad, and someone who can prove that you can actually get jacked without eating chicken breast every 3 hours. Asher, thanks for joining.
Thank you for having me, Jay.
For the disclaimer, I have to say that I was a vegetarian. I think it was maybe 5 years ago for a year. And then I was a pescatarian. I think it's called pescatarian. So I was only eating fish and try to avoid other animal products for another year or two, but not anymore. Now I'm just trying to lower down the amount of meat I'm eating. So today I want to talk to you about veganism, how it works with sport, how it works with your lifestyle and family as well. So Asher, if you can share with us, what was the moment when the idea of veganism came to your life and what triggered it?
Yeah. I think for me, it's a little bit different than other people because I switch in a day. It means overnight, I just stopped to eat whatever I was eating and it felt like completely natural. So I would say that my experience with shifting my whole food, my whole way of eating came from basically it came from nutrition wise. It means that for me, it was important to build muscles with in the most healthy way. So I started to watch some lecture that got to do with nutrition. The first was the Michael Greger. It's called I don't remember the name, but it was on YouTube. It was huge. My friend shared it with me. I watched it, and it seems completely makes sense. And it also felt like so really natural. I said, okay, I'm going to do that. And that moment I switched. So the reason I switched got to do with health. But I think the foundation, it has to be much stronger than that. It means maybe first I changed because of health reasons. But after that, I started to look around and see a little bit more about, the animal agriculture and the environmental aspects, the environmental aspect, and all these things together. It creates a very strong foundation to be able to keep running with it for so many years, probably for life.
I think actually for me it was one of the same ways. I also saw the lecture and then immediately because I got so surprised by what I heard, and then I saw the movie called Human. They call Human, where they showed animals on the farm and then they show animals in the circus, and they show it's called Human, I think. Or something about people and. That famous actor who plays Joker, that actor who plays Joker, he was.
It will come.
Yeah, and I was like, whoa. And then, but you see, there's the social pressure as well for me, because I remember that moment telling my friends and telling my family, oh my God, that was quite an experience. Because from the place I'm from, not eating meat considered a mental disease. Like you cannot do that. But yeah, I also felt. In terms of health benefits, it has a great benefit for me. But you said you watched some lecture and then you try to gain muscles in the most healthiest way.
Yeah.
What was that you heard that changed your opinion?
I heard that you don't need meat to gain muscle. You don't need meat. You don't need eggs, and actually you can recover faster. And I didn't have any health problem, but it just made so much sense for me to go for it. And I said, I'm going to give it a chance. So the switch was immediately. And I started to work with that. And I saw the result very fast in terms of, especially in terms of recovery. I was able to go and push at the gym again and again. Now, that was many years ago. But if I look in overall lifestyle, if you keep the core strong, you don't have to be 5 days at the gym to be healthy, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, I think that the movie you're talking about called Earthlings.
Oh, Earthy, right? Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm calling it Human, right?
Yeah,
right. I'm representing the general public opinion here. There's a lot of people who will argue that veganism actually cannot go well together with intensive exercise. Was there any surprising benefits and advantages that you found when you start being vegan? In terms of sport, at least.
In terms of sport?
Yes.
So, like I said,
you said recovery.
Recovery is much faster. I think also the way that you eat, it's you're not heavy. I don't need to eat so many eggs or so much meat to gain muscles. But I think that what I felt is especially the recovery. And I think this is
Do you know any science behind it? Do you know how it works actually?
no.
That your body needs to, I guess, your body needs to spend less energy on.
Oh, you're talking about
recovery than the meat.
digestion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, that's what the reason why recovery happens faster, right? Because your body now has more energy to build up the muscles instead of processing the food.
I'm not. I wouldn't say that I'm a specialist in this, so I don't want to get into the details.
All right.
But when it comes to digestion, of course, when you eat meat, your body, it's very hard for our body to digest meat. When you eat tofu or you eat tempeh or chickpeas, it's going to be
easy.
easy.
Yeah,
it's way easier. That's why you don't feel like after lunch, you don't feel that you need to go to sleep. You feel just energized.
As we touched on the chickpeas, tofu, and tempeh, there is a common belief that this kind of plant-based protein never going to be enough for you. Like, it is also protein. You can get same amount of protein, but it's not the same. And also it comes to the question of B12, iron, and all the kind of stuff. What would you say to all these people?
It's the same questions, the same myth came along also when I started to be vegan. Right? Well, I would say 12 years ago, and it wasn't that popular back then. So when I became basically vegan, people really look at me weird. And they say, well, how are you going to gain weight? And how are you going to gain muscles? Or are you going to die? I don't know. I don't remember exactly, but it was extremely funny because people still, until today, have this myth that the protein you get from plants is not the same protein that you get from meat. But it's, if you look at the biggest animals on the planet, look at elephants, look at cows, look at bulls, look at look at gorillas. They're eating plants. They're extremely strong and they do have muscles. So the problem is not in the plants. The problem is our perception of where you get your protein from, and this comes from education. That's what we've been taught about since we are babies. It's in schools, it's in kindergarten, it's from our parents, it's from our grandparents. It's just, it's a story. And the story has been told over and over again. And when a story is being told over and over again, it became true.
Yeah, it became true.
It became true. But this story, if you really start to critique your thoughts, challenging your thoughts, and you go back from the start, and you start to look at different stories, and start to see what's the right, what might be a more makes sense or kind of story. So I think your routes or your journey will be a completely different. And it's not just in plant-based; it's in everything.
Okay, I agree. I agree with that. What about the supplements like B12, for example? That's the most common one.
Well,
everyone's saying that. Yeah, you cannot. I watched one video. I'm pretty sure you saw that guy on the internet. He's kind of popular when you're trying to check anything about veganism. And he said that if you want to be plant-based and you want to get B12. That's almost a quote what he said. He said, you just get some vegetable and it has some soil on it and you just eat it with the soil. And then people were like, how can I eat how can I eat something with the soil? You have to wash it first.
Where he's like, okay, so first the question is where B12 comes from? What's the source? So many people will tell you it's in the meat.
Right.
It is in the meat, but it's not the source. The source is it's a microbes. It's in the soil. So the guy wasn't he wasn't wrong, but the execution is a bit hard to do. I cannot put my veggies in the soil.
Right.
The way to consume B12 today, most people consume it from the meat that they eat. How? The animal agriculture, they feed B12, they feed supplement to the cow.
And then
the person eat the cow. But basically, the B12 is from the soil. Our soil is very poor these days, so you can't get it from vegetables. But back then, you could get it actually from vegetables and everything. But it's not what it used to be like hundreds of years ago.
Technically, we can say if it's organic food from the good soil, it will have a higher source of B12.
Supposedly, yes. Supposedly, yes. Now, the thing is that today, I think because we are not growing our veggies ourselves. It's going through a kind of a process.
Yeah, exactly.
So it might be not very efficient to have B12 like just from the ground. So from the soil, sorry. So So today, if the B12 comes from the cow, people eat it from the cow that had been supplemented
already. Yeah.
So let's just cut the cow and just get the B12. Just get the supplement. It's the same thing.
What kind of supplements are you taking?
I'm taking only B12. I'm taking only B12. I also take it's curcuma and black pepper.
Okay.
It's a combination. This is a very strong
immune system,
anti-inflammatory. I have few things that I do every morning. It's a routine for me and my son, for me and Axel. That is, I find it extremely strong when it comes to anti-inflammatory and for the immune system. I think those two things are extremely important, especially these days.
If your body can fight it back.
Fight it back and also push back the diseases.
Exactly.
So I'm much less knock on wood. I'm not being sick for a long time, and I believe I don't say it's only this, but it's a part of a formula that is important. What we eat.
Are you doing cold plunge in the morning? Cold shower?
No, I do only.
I'm going to talk about it every single episode now. I'm talking to everyone about it.
I have your guy for this. He's a certified how you call the cold showers, Matt Hoffman.
Oh yeah.
He's a certified.
Exactly.
He's a certified. He's here. He's doing it in China for people. He's the only one.
Yeah.
You should talk with him. He's a very cool guy.
That's cool. I saw so much benefit in it. That's part of my morning routine as well now.
It's amazing.
Changed my life completely.
Tell me, I heard. He also told me. I think that I'll do it when the time is right. I'm going to get into that pool, but I think it's amazing. I love to do it after the gym.
100%.
When your body is hot,
cool down,
and you just you're pushing that cold shower. It's not like an ice bath. But
of course I'm not doing ice baths either because I don't have the bath and I don't have enough space for it, unfortunately. But start from the cold shower at least. And
it gives you this amazing adrenaline.
A very good way to start is they call it switching. So you're not only just doing cold and then getting out. So you're doing hot shower, then cold, and then you're finishing with the hot. So you help your body to restore the heat, but then slowly, after a week or two, then you're replacing the hot shower, and then you just start doing the cold, which is absolutely amazing. What's the part of your morning routine? You mentioned something.
Yeah. So I have this. I built kind of a smoothie that is a super anti-inflammatory smoothie. It's contain about 9 different berries. We're putting the ground flaxseed for omega-3. By the way, omega-3 is something that many people talks about. So flaxseed, you ground flaxseed, you put them in the freezer. This is amazing source for omega-3. 1 tablespoon a day, you're set for omega-3.
To replace the fish oil.
To replace the fish oil or whatever other source for omega-3. So basically, I'm using flaxseed, a little bit of oats, 8 different type of berries, include wild berries.
Oof, nice.
Yes, 8 different type of berries. I'm using also, to get full of that, I'm using also a soy milk powder, which is basically just soybeans powder. There's no added to it. Adding coconut water, blend it together, and putting that curcuma, black pepper, mix it all together, 1 liter smoothie. That's my morning, and my son get this 200 ml.
Wait, that's your breakfast complete? Like you're not eat just the
that's
smoothie
food.
itself?
What do you mean? I eat it. This is the I don't chew it.
Yeah.
I just it's smoothie.
Nice. That's a good way. That's a good way to start your morning. We also touch on the plants a little bit, and I'm curious, what's your opinion? So there's a lot of people, they're saying that actually, if we talk about ethical part of veganism, killing plants is no better than killing animals, because a lot of them can communicate. They are breathing, they're eating, they're growing, and I'm not sure I'm giving the right numbers, but someone told me if you take a needle and you put it in a cucumber, they try to measure it, like the amount of pain, and it's like huge. It's like someone is cutting off your leg, like that kind of amount of pain. How are you dealing with that?
Okay, first of all, people that say that, just on a personal level, before getting into I don't know the science of it, but that person that say that, if you put a broccoli on the table and you put next to it a puppy, and there's a fire, what's your instincts telling you? Who are you going to save, the broccoli or the
obviously the puppy? Obviously,
right? Now there is a big difference between animals and plants, and the most thing is the nervous system. nature created us in a very smart way. If you have a nervous system that feels pain, you are able to run away from danger. It's that simple. A puppy, an ant, whatever is a being, living being, is able to run away from dangers the moment he feels it, even if it's anything. A broccoli or a tree, they just don't have the nervous system, so they don't have to. They don't feel that kind of pain. They might feel something, but it's not the way that we feel pain. It's not the same thing.
Nerve system. That's a very interesting point. Yeah. So the nature created in a way that if you feel enough pain, you need to try to run away or escape it, right?
Feel any pain.
Yeah, feel any pain.
Yeah.
What about the plant-based meat?
Yeah.
Because when the first time I heard about it, I was like, wow, that sounds like a beautiful and very smart option, right?
It is.
But then I'm feeling like there's some brands who are using it to the vegetarians' benefit, because I don't think all of that is healthy.
Who say that it has to be healthy? Listen, I think that being vegan doesn't mean to be healthy, first of all. It's been that I think the idea of veganism, which, by the way, it's not just food. I think we need to talk about this a little bit. Many people talking about vegan like it's just food. It's not. Being vegan, it's much more than food. Food is one thing. The idea of being vegan is to have as less harm as possible to animals. This means by using any type of product. It can be cosmetics, it can be leather, it can be anything that got to do with animals. So eating plant-based is different. I can be a plant-based, but I can have a leather jacket, right? So, and also I think that trying to be as vegan as possible is basically trying to do the best that you can to not harm animals. The best that you can. Maybe you will not be perfect. I'm not perfect. I eat 100% plants, but I do have shoes that have a little bit of leather on them. I'm not perfect. And I would not go to a store and buy a leather jacket. I'm just trying my best to do as less harm as possible to animals. Now, going back to your question, remind me the question.
The plant-based meat.
Yeah,
the plant-based meat.
Yeah. So it doesn't have to be healthy.
Healthy all the time.
It doesn't have to be healthy. I think that we can decide when we want to eat healthy and we don't want to eat. That's your own personal choice. Sometimes I might enjoy also a plant-based burger with Beyond Meat, but it's not something I would do on a daily basis. Why not?
I think people like absolute, right? If you agree to do something, they want you to be on it 100%, and they're always trying to highlight what you're doing wrong, especially if it becomes a trend and they see that a lot of other people are doing it.
It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable.
Yeah, same what I heard when they're saying, oh, why are you calling it a plant-based meat? So if you want meat, just eat normal meat. Then why are you calling it a meat? It's not a meat.
You know why you call it a meat? It's very simple. It's food is more than what we eat. It's a culture. It's something that we learn for many, many years. So when they make a plant-based burger, it's because burger, we understand the feeling when you eat it. It comes with kind of emotion, with a culture, with history. Yeah. So you want people to connect with that patty. If I call it just a patty, it will not give you in the idea to having a burger.
Yeah, of course. Burger has something. Food has something behind it. It's, as you said, culture. There was developing with time.
Yeah.
Developing with time, and it's also, I think, even the pop culture now, right? As we talk about most of what American and stuff fast food, right? Came from America, and the icons, the pictures, the way how to talked about it. So immediately creates this fast connection. So burger, I know what it is. Yeah, I know what it is.
And what's the problem to call to non-burger burger? Why people are so sensitive about it?
Yeah, I think because you that you agreed to follow something, right? They see it as some type of religion or something, and then you cannot go left or right.
I think also many vegans are like that. There's many angry vegans.
Oh yeah. I don't know if you. I love the joke by Joe Rogan when he said that I've never seen so many angry, healthy people in my life. It's like, they were absolutely wild. They were absolutely wild.
I think that everybody. That especially if you go plant-based or going vegan in terms of that's got to do with animals, So you have a lot of. I remember also when I discovered, I went to those places. I went to the slaughterhouses to see exactly where these food's coming from. So when I saw that, there is a lot of emotions coming in because we've been told a lie, and now you know something that is probably you want the whole world to know. And when you share this information, and many people just they feel like they don't care, you become angry.
Yeah,
Now,
of course.
and you feel that everybody are bad. Everybody are nobody care.
Because
Nobody
you
care.
know the truth, but they
Because
don't want to listen.
Yes, but they don't want to
listen.
I think many people have this chapter. Many people get stuck to it for a long time. But I think that if you know how to leverage that kind of passion that you have and use it in the right way to make people listen, then you have the power to make change. When you are angry and you try to force your idea on somebody, force doesn't create changes in people. If you want to change,
it's make them to fight back, of course.
it makes antagonism. It makes exactly the opposite. If you want people to change, you want to unite with them in a way, and then you want them to listen. When they listen, their hearts open, and then they can
create the environment that attracts people by themselves. You cannot force them to do what you want to do, especially if they don't know what you know.
You need to create an example for others the way that you live. That's the way I believe it is. You need to create an example and just share what you know without criticize the other side and without being angry. When you're able to reach to that point, you will gather much more attention, actually. You will gather much more, because I've been also an angry vegan at the start, but I fast realized that this is not the way to change people. And it's create inside you kind of anger that it's sustained there. Anger inside you for a long time, man, you become sick.
You. Oh, wow.
You
it
become
affects everything.
sick.
Yeah, it affects your mental health and health in general. I believe so. I believe so.
Yeah.
The negative energy. Do you think it can be, we will see the world where everyone become vegan?
No, I don't think so. I think there will be a different way that people will approach food. I think the way that we produce food today, especially in terms of animal agriculture, it feels like Flintstones.
Yeah,
Flintstones with the car that we used to run with the legs.
But do you think the future is going to, because I feel like we're going to just stop printing it. I believe 3D printers, they're already making it.
Maybe. I don't know. I can't predict the future. Yeah. I know that the way that animal agriculture is now, this is not sustainable. This has got to change. So now we have culture meat, right? So this might be one of the ways, right? More people will eat less, but I think eventually it has to be an alternative to meat, but just not the way that we are producing it now. Because right now it doesn't make any sense.
Actually, it reminded me of one point I wanted to share. Before we talked that the myth, right, that our parents told us and their parents told them. I think one of the reasons where it came from is scarcity, right? So before, people were not eating as much meat as now. I read some statistics. I think 100 years ago, Americans were consuming, so the same amount they were consuming a year, now they're consuming a day. With the McDonald's and all this, of course. And I mean, generally we have more people too, but the numbers are year to a day, right? In like 100 years. So before it was definitely scare. And I think that's why, the parents of our parents were teaching them that if you have meat, you have to eat it, because it's not the thing that on your table every day. So we still have that mentality, but now we have so much option. So it's so hard to make you actually refuse something when you have so much variety in the shops and deliveries and everything. It can be on your table any moment you want.
I think people are lack of critical thinking.
Wow, that applies to everything in 2025, 100%.
But if I think food is so important for us. We consume it every day, at least 3 times a day. Critical thinking in that point, it's affect your life dramatically. Now you're going far to the States. Look at China. There is a study, one of the biggest nutrition study called the China study. I'm not going to talk about this nutrition experiment, but basically, you can see in China many years ago when China was completely poor, And what they did, they went to any village in China and any city and villages in China and check what people's eating there, what's their lifestyle.
Now?
No, like, I don't know, 20 years ago?
Okay.
Something like that, 20, 30 years ago. And after they gather all the data, let's make it short about that. And basically what they realize is very simple and it's make a lot of sense. When you live, the more you are close to the city, the less healthy you are. It's that simple. Why? Because the more you're close to the city, you are more rich. And then basically people that have more money, their life habits completely change. It means they eat much more meat. When you are in the farm, even if you look at Chinese, older people in China, when they lived in the farm, they had not much money. So you're going to have a bowl of soup, and the meat, it wasn't the main dish. It was a little bit of top on the top, a little bit of top. It wasn't like a big piece of steak and a piece of broccoli. So the main thing was plants, was legumes, grains, vegetables, fruits. And there's a little bit of fish, meat, or egg. That wasn't the main thing. Now, the more Chinese had more and more money, it became like, okay, now I have money. Now I can have those things. I can have the meat much more because I have the money. And then the influence from the West came.
Of course.
KFC came here. You see it everywhere. McDonald's trying to push those things. And people, it's very hard because it's accessibility. It's everywhere. So people just, without thinking what happened when they go inside and they eat that, because they just want to feel full.
Full, yeah. No.
There is consequences for every action that we do, especially with food, man.
And we're living right in the middle of the city.
Yeah, but the beauty in China that you do have the option. If you decide to change, you do have the option. It's very, online. It's so simple today to order products, whatever you want.
Yeah, especially with the shop like yours.
Yeah.
We just tried Asher's desserts, and it's absolutely beautiful. I love it.
Thank you.
Maybe you want to share with us about your brand, how you came to this idea, which is not very typical because you started a while ago in a place that has no vegan culture whatsoever.
Like I didn't do market study when I started.
Any cultural local dish you try, it's all animal products, everything.
My company called GoVegan. I started GoVegan from it came from a necessity. I didn't think about I want to have a company and create profit and money. It came first of all from the inside. There was a lot of passion in me. And it came from a necessity that I needed food. I needed to eat.
Create the environment.
Created an environment. I wanted to live in an environment when I have access to food that I can eat, that it will be easier. But yeah, I think the story of starting GoVegan is a very classic of real hustle, kind of a real hustle day to day. I
like how that sounds.
A real hustle day to day thing. I started in my own house. I was completely broke. I had maybe 6,000-7,000 RMB. Back then I was muscled up. I was a lot at the gym, and I used to train. It started with training other people at the gym, and they always tell me, "Look." I told them, you guys, I'm training you guys, but eventually when you go outside of the gym, I have no control of what you're doing. And the most important thing is food. You got to eat proper to gain muscles. So, and we realized that's the main problem. So they say, okay, Ash, so you basically, whatever you eat, make them extra for us. And let's just solve this problem easily. The problem was that what I was eating was extremely simple. I look at food, even until today, in many situations, I look at food just like fuel. I can eat steamed broccoli, steamed tofu, some rice, with no seasoning, just some lemon juice on it, and eat it if I have a target regarding building muscles. And back then, I didn't think that, okay, most people not like that. But so anyway, I make the same food like me for them. So every day they came to my house, they grabbed 2 packages. I had 2 clients. Okay. And they go home, they eat the food. After 5-6 days, they came and said, listen, Ash, we love you. You're great, but we have no meaning for our lives. We eat food that have no flavor, have no taste. And this is the moment when I realized that food has to be also tasty.
Tasty, right?
Not
right.
just
you
healthy.
have to attract people.
You have to balance things out if you want people to sustain it for a long time.
Okay.
Because then I realized the way I am, this is not conventional.
Okay.
This is when I started to spend hundreds of hours in the kitchen to understand food chemistry. I had no idea about anything. I didn't know how to cook. Steaming some veggies, it's not know how to cook or understanding how food works. So basically, GoVegan started in my own house, in my own kitchen.
But you learned it by yourself. You start cooking by yourself.
Everything, man. I did everything by myself when I started.
And those recipes? All these desserts, recipes?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Some of them, what you try, there is some of them that are pretty new. So I did have some people that do things with me, but the whole foundation of GoVegan and most of the recipes is just an experiment of failure, 20 failures, one success, 20 failure, one success. But I think that when the good thing, there is good thing, and I'm telling this to a lot of people. When you try business, when you start a business, then you have no money and you are pushed to the wall, against the wall, and you have to do everything yourself, it sounds like a curse, but it's a blessing. The reason that it's a blessing is that nobody can trick you on your business because you did everything.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, of
so
course.
I was the cook. I was I even was a delivery guy. There was no deliveries like now. It wasn't so accessible.
Wow.
So I had like bikes. I had and I went. Man, I was the customer service. I was the cook.
Wow.
I was the buying department. I can't say I didn't have people that helped me along the way, especially when I started. I had people that helped me. But it was a very intense 1.5 years of everyday work nonstop. I didn't have holidays. I didn't have weekends. I didn't do clubs. I didn't do girls. I did go vegan, and I think that's the reason. I think that's the reason that I was able to do that jump, because the opportunity came eventually, and I'm able to do the jump from a house which at a moment sells product to a real business.
That's absolutely great. I wish we have something to cheer on this moment.
Yeah,
that's amazing. And I think that's what a lot of people, they don't realize, because they have their work, they have their hobbies, their life, and they want to change something. But as soon as those troubles, as you described, they start coming, and you're like, wait, I can go back to my comfort zone. Why should I take so much risk and so much punishment and for my own self? To do what? What if it's failed, right? What if I don't know what's going to happen in the future? Will it work or not? And I think that's where a lot of people break, right? And I'm glad you made it through.
I had no choice. I had no choice. I was alone in China. I had nothing else.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you're bringing people who you made it with, because I also believe there is nothing you can do alone. Whatever, you can learn it, you can master it, you can have an idea, you can push as much as you can. But as far as you're living in an environment, in a society, there's always people around you who are helping you to push you forward, and then you go.
There is one more thing I want to mention about this, about having your own, I would say, your own business or something that you really love to do. I think that if you want to start a business, right? I didn't focus on making money. That's the thing. I think that until today, it's never been like my main focus. I love what I do. People don't understand the value of loving what you do. It's the money is important. You need to make a living.
It's a source. It's a source. It's
a source, but you need to make a living, but you need to love what you do. If you're just doing for the money, eventually it's not good for your soul, man.
Because you have to love what you're doing, right? And that's actually part of this big project that makes completely no money whatsoever. But still, we're pushing as much as we can, because I just absolutely love it. And I was making way more money before, but I can say I was such an unhappy person. It doesn't make me happy at all. Yeah, so I prefer being in peace with my own self regarding the having the money that can buy me things. Now, actually, when you describe it, I understand your shop better, because a lot of the food is very simple, which for me, I was in sometimes like, Is
What
there
you feel?
anything?
What you feel is simple.
Is there anything? No, look, I told you, my favorite is a Buddha bowl, right?
Yeah.
This is absolutely amazing. Why? It has, I think, the most amount of nutritious value, I would say, because it has some falafel patties, right? It have some veggie.
No,
It's falafel.
no, you talk about tabbouleh bowl.
Yeah, I'm talking the Buddha bowl.
Okay, tabbouleh, not Buddha bowl.
Buddha bowl.
Buddha bowl have no falafel patties.
Wait, the
Lentils,
hummus?
that's tabbouleh bowl.
Bula bowl.
Tabbouleh bowl.
Tabbouleh
Yeah,
bowl. It's called tabbouleh bowl,
Yeah.
right? Falafel, hummus, and some
Yeah,
veggies, and it's beautiful. Like for the
Yes.
meal, it's beautiful. But the other stuff, where it's just like salad
Yeah.
and pumpkin soup, and I'm like, this is I can't. I need more. I need more than this. But it's so simple and nice. Now I understand it way better. There is a big philosophy behind it.
Of course, you know, sometimes simple doesn't mean that it can be extremely tasty. Especially in salad, you know, salads, it's all about the sauce.
Yeah,
If you have
exactly.
a good sauce.
How you do the.
And if you look at our beet salad, for example, it's not that simple. It has we make curried cauliflower.
Yeah,
in it.
yeah,
And
exactly.
we make like cheese. How you call those? This
Cottage cheese. Cottage
not cottage, but another one that you put usually in salads. What's the name of this? You know, like square. I don't know, a type of cheese that we make.
Yeah.
We put it also in it, and we have a nice ginger tahini sauce with it. I wouldn't say it's a simple salad like you go to a regular restaurant and having a Caesar salad. We try to make things with a twist, and we have so many different type of products, so you can always find something
And
there.
also, what I like about it, organic, right? There's a lot of organic stuff that I like.
There
to
is
buy.
some. I don't focus on organic because organic is still for the rich.
Yeah.
We try. I tell many people have the idea that vegan mean organic, but it's got nothing to do with it. Organic is just a way of growing the vegetables or fruits.
That's a big part, accessibility, right? Like when I'm going to Bali, oh my God, yeah, I love being vegan. It's first of all, it's cheaper, it's way easier, it's everywhere, and it has so much options. But when you're going to other places, at first, I mean, it's a question to a soul, I think, right? How far can you go to follow what you told yourself to do, right? So when you're going to other place and now it's become uncomfortable, now you're wasting way more money on it. Like I told you, my experience in Australia, right? It was just so hard to follow it. Like I cannot just spend so much time on it. I cannot. Like when the burgers with the cow meat is just right there and I need to travel. I cannot even order it. I need to travel to other place. I'm just going to be late for work. It doesn't make any sense, right?
I think it's all about conviction.
Yeah, exactly. How you convinced.
Conviction, it means how you are 100% dedicated. Because I guarantee you, if I'm in Australia, I will find something
you're
to
100%.
eat.
Yeah, I'm
It's
not.
conviction, man. It's conviction. I will eat oats and water if I have no other choice. But I don't expect, that's the thing. When I look at people that are not eating like me, I don't judge them. Do whatever you can and just strive to be better. I'm doing the same. I'm not perfect like anybody, but I'm always trying to push myself to be better where I'm less good at. So eating, okay. So for me, for example, when you go to Australia and you see that steak, right? Your mind is still telling you that this is a type of food. And that's fine. That's the way like was designed to do, because all the story, it's still in your head somewhere. For me, it's not food. And I'm not saying this in a way that I don't look at it as food, or my mind completely changed. It's like I'm telling you, for example, you go to the supermarket, there is the steaks of the cows, and on the left side there is a dog retriever meat.
For you, it's the
you will see the dog. You will not even think this is food. You will think this is not food. I feel the same for the cow and the chicken. I'm not saying
you have no perspective that it's consumable for food.
I have no. The idea of categorizing animals has completely vanished in my mind, and it's happened over years. It's like years to happen. But if you are consistent with my studies about veganism or the way that I eat and my lifestyle, these categories slowly disappear. And then it doesn't matter if it's a cow or if it's a dog. I look at this completely the same. And it's also sometimes it's very hard to live like that.
Yeah, of course, of course.
You need to know how to navigate the feelings when you sit with people, because I do sit with people that around me that eat anything. You need try to put yourself in yourself in my seat. Now you have people around you to eat I don't know, your favorite pet, some cat meat or some dog meat, and you sit and you need to act normal. So you can do it, but you need to learn how to it's emotional intelligence,
emotional
intelligence.
This is what emotional intelligence. So understand yourself, understand your feeling, and
understand others
as well. Understand others as well. What do you think is one of the most typical mistakes that people do when they start going vegan? I think one of the common one is people cutting off everything and they just eat just pure vegetables without considering the diet, right? I think that's the most common one, when they think that I'm just going to eat plants, but I don't think that kind of diet survives for long.
I think when people trying to change their if you're talking about food habits, it's important they understand why they're doing that. Okay, if they're doing it only for the health reason, I think it's very hard to sustain it, because sometimes you just don't want to be healthy. Sometimes you want to eat something that maybe is not super healthy. So if it's just about the health, they will go and eat their steak, okay, or whatever it is.
Those people who are saying, today I'm not vegan.
Yes, today I'm not vegan. So maybe it's better not to categorize us like today I'm vegan or I'm not vegan. Maybe it's better just to I'm going to try to reduce as much animal product as I can, because the moment you categorize yourself as something, you're already putting pressure under yourself. It's better just to say I'm eating, just like you said that you're doing. You're cutting your meat consumption, you're cutting your dairy consumption, whatever it is. Try to cut it. Try to find plant-based meals that you actually like in restaurants and stick to it. Because eventually, most of us, we eat most of the day, most same.
You
know what I mean? We're eating, if you look at your weekly meals, and you see it's mostly the same.
Very. I mean, obviously weekends people going on the restaurant or something, but daily to daily basis, it's very similar.
So find one good plant-based meal that you really like and just stick to it a couple times a week. I don't like when people start to categorize themselves as something and it just started, it's putting a lot of pressure. It's not just in terms of the food, it's your your surrounding. Social circle, especially, in China, it's very hard as a Chinese to change because
family and culture.
And you need to have a very strong bone, because sitting with even my parents, when I started, even though I have 3 sisters, we're all vegans, 2 sisters that are vegans, but when I started, and I was sitting on a dinner table, I needed to be very strong on my opinion that I'm not going to eat this. If I don't care if somebody else is offended, I don't care about what you think.
People getting offended, yes, they getting offended.
People getting offended that you don't eat their food. So in China, if Bailing, my wife, go to her village, to her family, and she don't eat what they put on the table, they will not understand why she will not eat it. They just get offended, So she doesn't want them to get offended, so she's going to eat this anyway, But for me, because my conviction is so strong, you can't move this tree. This tree is not moving anywhere. All the wind blows.
Doesn't matter. Falling down, but
this is me. Because if this goes, my identity of who I am and who I believe I am is completely vanished.
I think in China, it's especially a thing, right? Because I'm really thinking about the local dishes, and I'm thinking about the north and south, Beijing Kaoya, all the dumplings, everything. It's all animal based. I mean, obviously there is some vegetable options, but this is not how people are treating their local cuisine, right? And especially for the locals, I think it's extraordinarily hard. When you're going to the Chinese New Year to see your family, forget about it. I have a little bit of different opinion about this than you, because I think that actually Chinese cuisine is based on much more on vegetables and plants than Western countries. Yes. Which meals, for example? Which dishes?
If you look at the meals around, there's always a lot of vegetables. Maybe there's also meat, but there's a lot of vegetables also. If you compare it to Western cultures.
Oh yeah, right? You know what I mean? That's a very different story.
So there is already a big bag, and also like I mentioned before, in villages before, when there was no money, people used to eat much more plants. So in the culture, it's there. because money came. So culture is also changing.
It became richer. Yeah, it became richer.
Culture is changing over time also, So the habits are changing, but I think that China has a very good base, and they actually love vegetables and more types of vegetables than Western. So I think the potential here.
Tofu, soy.
There's tofu.
Products,
soy and tofu is integrated in the culture. This is something that West took from the East.
Yeah.
So I think there is much more potential actually here to be more of a plant-based meals. And there are companies that do it quite good, man. There is great restaurants here in China. I don't remember one, Parma. I forgot the name. They have a chain. This restaurant, it's huge. It's all plant-based and it's always full. You go there, you always wait outside. But I'm talking about hundreds of people. You should go there, man, in Guangzhou. It's so good.
For sure.
Why it's so successful? It's because the experience in the restaurant is amazing. You will not see there anything that got to do with Buddha or religious.
Yeah, exactly.
You go in, the experience is magnificent. If it's the service, if it's the type of food, the flavors. Yeah. So the restaurant is not full with vegans. It's just full with Chinese, man.
Yeah.
That might eat also meat and eat everything. But the experience is
create
great.
The environment, right?
Yeah.
Create the environment and attract people.
Yeah.
You mentioned your wife.
Yes.
Is she vegan too?
No.
But how you navigate in a family where someone is not vegan? How it's creating attention? How you're cooking? How you buying products? Are you buying meat for her?
Okay, so it's a little bit different. So when I started to date Bailing, I told her, listen, obviously she can eat whatever you want. I cannot force her to anything. But I tell her, in the house, I would like to have I have only one request about food. In-house, let's keep it plant-based. Let's keep it vegan. And actually, Bailing, most of the time, is vegan. I would say, okay, during pregnancy, she was 100%. Like me, one time she ate at the village, she ate some meat with a family.
That's the moment we will come back. I want to talk about it later in deep. But now just for the family, family and how it works in the couple and especially in the house.
All right. So she's not vegan, but most of the time when we go out, she's eating vegan. When we're at home, she's eating vegan. When she go with friends, she might not eat vegan. I'm not always into her plate, but when you have what you learn, okay, this is what you learn from such a strong personality like I have and strong values that I want to keep around. It was much easier for me if my wife was vegan, right?
Yeah, of course.
But actually, when you have such a relationship that I have with Bailing, you understand more what love is, because you understand patience. And you try to understand the other side, even it doesn't make any sense to you. It's patient. It's patient. Right. This is. You learn how to navigate those feelings, and still influence her or with what you have. She's never been against veganism. She loved that. She loved the idea. This is why our son also. We're going to talk about it, but our son also is vegan. But like I say, food. There's so many layers to food that is emotional, educational, culture, that it's not a black or white thing. And sometimes people are doing things because humans are very complex in a way.
Exactly.
We are so complex. I cannot look at it and say, okay, because you do that, you're bad. Or because you do that, you're good. There's much more layers to those things.
Yeah, always. And I think one of the reasons it's way easier to color something as black or white, right? Because this coloring, this thing in between, it requires a lot of thinking. It requires a lot of critical thinking and perspective, right? It's way easier to say this or that. And I also believe balancing in the middle, that's the hardest job to do, actually. The hardest job to do. You said that she was fully vegan during pregnancy.
Yeah.
But she's not. But usually she's not fully vegan. It's up to her. But why was it your suggestion? So during the pregnancy, she will not eat meat.
She supported it. She trusted me. Listen, I wouldn't if I didn't have 100% conviction about plant-based and why it's very good for her during pregnancy and also for our son, Axel, to have it. I wouldn't dare to tell her to go for it. but she trusted me. She had no knowledge about it. When we met, she didn't even know what vegan means. She knew vegetarian, but then she come with some honey, and I tell her, I'm sorry, I don't eat honey. I'll say, why? And then I explain. That's when she understand what vegan means. So she actually was very new to the concept. But actually, knowing me and loving me and trust me, she decided to go for it. Yeah.
Can you share any scientific or anything you know about what's the benefit if you try to be vegetarian during pregnancy, or it's just normal support without meat?
It's just there is no any
Special advantages or anything.
There is no any scientific source that can tell you that you need to eat meat, egg, or dairy to be healthy. There is zero. There is zero. You can eat plant-based food and be completely fine. Doesn't matter who you are, what age you are. There is no need. The stories that we've been told, it's a different thing. But I explained it to her that you can get anything during your pregnancy from plants. And it's pretty much of a living proof. Her pregnancy was completely fine. She gave natural birth to our son. Our son is 3 years old and he's completely healthy. He just had a test check for the kindergarten. And
your son is vegan since the birth?
The day he was born. Yeah, before birth. He was,
before birth, right.
Yeah.
That's absolutely amazing.
It didn't surprise me because it's obvious. It's hard to digest this information because it's again the story. So I told myself a different story.
You can imagine how much heat you will receive on the internet, right? These people will be on you. Get ready for it. How does your son diet looks like? How you try to support anything, or it's just what is it? Also like falafels, tofu, same as you do, smoothies, stuff like that. Any supplements? Okay,
so Axel his taste buds are extremely variant. He eats so many different things, much more than any other kids, because he has so many different flavors that he experienced during his life. It's important to say, and I cannot say that he's healthy just because what he eats, because he was breastfeeding and he's still, but now it's more like a comfort thing. He's 3 years old, but he was fully breastfeeding until like 2.5. And the nutrition that he gets from breastfeeding, you don't get it from that's what he actually needs. But he's always introduced to new food, to new stuff. So he eats everything from he likes sour, he likes spicy, he likes sweet, he likes all kind of fruits and vegetables. He's not picky at all about food, but that's because this is the way we show him. This is the way we are in the house, and they suck everything from us.
Yeah, of course. Give an example. Give an example.
There are situations that we go outside and he see meat. He say,
I was just about to ask you. I was just about to ask you how
we let him try. I let him try, of course. I let him try. He doesn't like it because he never because he's not used to it. He's not used to it.
How will you react if he will decide to change his mind? Let's say a couple more years, when children are, I mean, I don't have any children, so I'm definitely the wrong person to talk about it, but I know, right? There's some age when they start getting their own thinking, they're not listening to you anymore, and he will tell you, hey, Dad, you know what? That burger.
Yeah. First of all, they already have their own thinking. Kids think by themselves. I think that our job, or my job as a dad or as parents, is not to control their thinking, is to teach them how to critical think about things. And when he grow up and he make decision, this is his decision, it's his life. I will never force him to do anything. What I'm trying to do is plant the seeds of empathy, of critical thinking, and understand what he actually eats. Because I actually tell him the real story since he was born. Now, you do it in graduate ways. I don't show him a video of...
overwhelm him with stuff. I was also curious how his emotional intelligence comes to it, because slowly you have to get the idea of what's going on,
I'm explaining him. First, you go with friends, like it doesn't matter if it's a cow or a chicken or a dog, they are all friends. You start with talking like this. Why we don't eat them? Because they are friends. Why would I eat a dog? I tell him, I don't eat him. Why would I eat him? He understands that. You understand those things. But I think the more we grow up, the more we need to be exposed to the real truth of animal agriculture. Because kids are extremely compassionate. And when I used to do some lectures in schools, and when kids I show kids actually, but again, those not the video that you saw on Airflings,
of course,
but
those are terrific.
Those are very overwhelming. This is a video, this is a movie that you want to see one time in your life, and that's it, just to understand what's going on. But you give them some kind of information, or you show them some visuals that fits their age. They don't want to eat this anymore. The problem is not them, it's the parents. Because when they go home and they say, "Mommy, I don't want to eat meat anymore," Mommy said, "What you talking about?"
I cooked it already.
Yeah, I cook. Here it is on the plate,
Yeah.
So they actually, the kids don't have the choice to do, which is fine, because parents should have kind of decision making for their kids until they're grown up and be able to choose by their own. This is our job.
Food intelligence is very important, especially I also see not only children, people, adults as well. Like the products that you can buy in a normal shop, that's absolutely terrific what's in it. And sometimes I don't even know what it is. Like I don't think it's ever made from any natural source. I mean, because there's a term processed food. But I think some of it is not even food in the first place. It's something that people just created from whatever chemical reactions they could get that can give you flavor, but it has zero nutritional value at all.
You have it there everywhere. You have this is McDonald's, you look KFC. This is exactly it. When you go through McDonald's, when you pass the street, you have this kind of smell. This kind of smell of McDonald's?
Yeah.
It triggers something in your mind that you want to have that.
Of course, it's a marketing
But
bomb.
it's designed. It's designed in a lab. This kind of smell designed in a lab for your mind to be triggered that you want to eat that and go inside that place to eat that burger.
Course, yeah.
There is a country in Europe, I forgot the name. They banned McDonald's.
Oh, really?
They banned many years ago. They banned McDonald's. They took one meal of McDonald's and they put a video on it 24/7. It's been many years that it's been shooting, and the meal still intact, bro.
Yeah.
It's still intact.
Still the same.
It's still the same. It didn't, man. The bread is there. The fries, it's still fried. Where's the food? Food doesn't react like that.
Of course. I also noticed something very similar with local bread. I'm missing it so much. The normal bread, the bread made of wheat that actually get baked, same story exactly. I bought that bread, I put it in the fridge, and I forgot about it, and then I opened it after 2 weeks, and it looks exactly the same, and it doesn't even smell. And I was like, "Oh my goodness!"
I'll show you where to buy good bread.
What is that? It's absolutely crazy. And companies, corporations, 100%. I mean, the smells, the red color. The red color that triggers you, the blood, wants you to eat something. But then I heard it designed in a way that the red color is triggering your hunger. But actually, after you're getting full, the red color has exactly the opposite effect. So it wants you to leave the place quick. Exactly.
Really?
Perfect. Yeah. So when you're full, when you already see a lot of red, you're getting a little emotional. You don't want to look at it too much. So you're trying to leave. Yeah, so you don't keep the place full for a long time. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure there's more than that. Everything, how those companies work. Shall we move to Say It Fast? Yeah, I think we're done almost an hour. Yeah, almost. We try to keep a longer episodes, but it takes a lot of time to us to edit. So now it's like we 1 hour and 10. Actually, before we move to the Say It Fast, there was one nice question I wanted to ask you that I missed regarding GoVegan. If you can choose one word to describe what you want people to feel when they're trying your food, what would it be?
Surprise. No, you know why? I tell you why. Because surprise, because I want people that have no idea or have some kind of or have some negative feeling about vegan, when they try the food and it surprised them, the flavor. And then, because when it surprises you, the flavor, I think when food is tasty, it makes your ears open. If I give you a piece of lettuce and I tell you, okay, listen, veganism is amazing and you should be vegan or whatever. But if I give you food that is tasty, when the food is tasty, the ears are open, and then I can share with you my values. So surprise
is a nice word. Surprise. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. That works. That works. It's exactly right. It's exactly right. So Asher, I don't think you watched our episodes in full, right?
No.
Not
I
many
watched
guests.
shorts.
Not many guests do, unfortunately. So the last thing we do here, called Say It Fast. I'm gonna ask you a series of random questions. Some of them are short answers. Some of them are yes or no. I need you to give me the first answer that pops in your head without much thinking.
All right.
All right?
Let's do it.
We're ready to do that? You ready? Can you love someone and still cheat on them?
Yes.
Would you give your smartphone away for 1 year for $1 million?
Yes.
If you had to choose, save your pet or save a stranger?
Stranger.
Do you think the masculinity under attack or it's evolving?
Say again?
Do you think that masculinity nowadays are under attack or it's evolving?
Evolving.
Do you think AI will replace human relationships?
I hope not, man.
How old will you be in 2036?
2036? Man, I'm very bad at math. Wait, 2024, another 52?
Who wrote Harry Potter?
J.K. Rowling.
Is it okay to stay friends with your ex?
Yes.
How many oceans are there?
I don't know, man.
And the last one. This one you can take slow. What is the purpose of life?
There is no purpose to life, man. There's none, no?
At all?
Not at all.
Where are we moving then? Where are we going? What are we doing?
You see, each of us has his own journey. I think, for me, I can tell my purpose.
Your purpose.
Maybe it's for many. I think that when you do good, you feel good. I think this is eventually kind of but it's not a purpose. This question is a very, it's a complex question.
Of course,
I think we don't have a specific purpose for being here. We're creating the purpose because we have nothing else to do.
Asher, that was an amazing conversation. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we did.